Hi family, Dr. Hooten here, everybody's chiropractor in Dallas, Texas. Last summer on a family reunion, we went to a big water park. And you know those big slides where they may be 60 feet up there and you swoop down and then it launches you up into the air. I've been a daredevil in my past life and for some reason that came out of me again. I went on the big slide. And have you ever done something and realized in the middle of performing the act that this was a mistake and there was nothing you could do about it? You were regretting the outcome before it actually happened. So as soon as I took off from the end of the slide there and I was tumbling out of control, I was already in regret from the pain that was coming, and it did hurt. Actually came out of it with a bloody nose and a bloody gum. My teeth were bleeding, but all is well. I recovered. And during that flight, I remember specifically closing my eyes. I just turned my head and went like that. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know what was about to happen. Have you ever done that? Have you ever turned a blind eye or closed your eyes or ignored what you should be doing? Right? And maybe, unfortunately, you've already lived to regret it. Maybe you know you're misbehaving and you're regretting it right now and you're thinking about the future and you don't want to think about the future. Well, shouldn't we be living our life today so we won't be regretting it tomorrow? Hopefully that'll inspire you a little bit to take action and take charge. This video is all about food, something that we all deal with. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 were about mindset and taking care of your spine. Those are two critical pieces of the equation for you to get healthy, for you to make it up to 80, 90, and 100, play with your grandbabies, your great-grandchildren, do what it is you want to be doing in your later years comfortably and lovingly. And even if you've already been through a health crisis like I did as a kid, like many of you have gone through, you can turn that ship around or at least stop it from getting worse. God didn't give us a body that's supposed to fail, but unfortunately, we traumatize it. So if you've already done that, listen, and you're listening to this video, your brain is working, it's not too late to change. You can still make a positive impact on your life. When should you start? The sooner the better. I would do anything to go back and not go down that slide in the first place. I wish that thought never came into my mind. So because of my health as a baby, we started Steal off with the right type of lifestyle choices, and the kid eats phenomenal. She doesn't like junk food. She knows all the clean restaurants. She knows the clean types of food. And clean is the word of the day, not lean. Cutting out the fat happens to be one of the worst things we could possibly have done in this country, in our culture. Our body, fat is an essential nutrient. Your brain is made of a lot of fat. Your cells have fat in them. You make hormones from fat. Cholesterol, fat, all these things we've been told were bad for us. That was a lie or a mistake at worst. You need these things. And the key word is clean. There are bad fats, there are good fats. There are bad proteins, there are good proteins. There are bad carbohydrates, there are good carbohydrates. What you need to start doing is understanding the difference between clean and not clean. So there's some words like organic, free range, free roaming, 100% grass-fed, wild caught fish from Alaska, right? All those things are going towards the clean side of things. Now your body knows what to do with that stuff. It's the unclean things like a fast food meat, any kind of fast food, whether it's chicken or beef, some kind of taco meat. That stuff is so highly processed, and the animal that it came from was fed God knows what. I have a friend of mine, this is no joke, listen to this, a real dear friend of mine, his family owned a beef farm up in Oklahoma. And their cows that they would get the cows when they were brand new, and they would raise them for a year and then sell them off to the butcher. The feed that went into these cows when they sent them to the butcher, they would want to fatten the cows up, right? They would want to produce a lot of meat, a lot of juiciness, right? I get it. I remember what those good steaks tasted like with all that fat. But they would feed these cows, this is not a joke, they would feed them all the leftover pastries and donuts from the local bakery. They literally would go to the bakery, like a big production plant like a Dolly Madison or one of those types, and they would get all the boxes with the wrappers and all the delicious, donuts and Twinkies inside, and throw the box and everything into the feed trough, and the cows would go to town and eat the whole thing. They would eat the plastic too. Yeesh. Well, that meat is not going to be high quality, and that unfortunately is what's going into most of the restaurants out there. So if you go to a restaurant, make sure you know where that meat comes from. This is a big player. Meat is such an important part of most of your diets. Now, if you don't eat meat, you're not off the hook. You still got to clean up your carbohydrates. An example there is a white rice is a bad carbohydrate. If you're going to do rice, just for example, make sure it is a 100% whole grain rice from an organic source. I mean, rice is such a huge crop. I mean, it's genetically modified, it's treated with God knows what, and then they strip the nutrients off to make it a little white rice kernel. That is not a clean carbohydrate. That is a bad one. You might as well pour sugar down your throat. And it's like that with all the veggies. Soy happens to be one of the most genetically modified crops in this country. It's very hard to find a non-genetically modified soy product, so we don't eat any of it. Plus, your body has a tendency to convert soy into a negative type of hormone, like it's a type of estrogen. And as we all know, the more estrogen you put in your body, the higher your risk of certain cancers. So those are just a couple of examples, and you can go down a list. But the best results I've seen people make, or see people have, and we're talking people that lose 100 pounds, are this. A, they clean up their meats. They start understanding what clean versus bad meat is. They start understanding what clean versus bad fats are. One really good example is if you want to clean your oil, your fat, switch everything to coconut oil. Almonds, that type of thing. A bad fat would be something like canola oil. That is horrible for you. Or vegetable oil, right? Or the Criscos, the bad saturated fats. Now, olive oil is really good cold. Coconut oil is saturated, right? It's at room temperature, it's solid, but it is not bad for you. That type of fat, because it's such a godly food, will actually help your body let go of some of the bad fat. And if you just want to lose some weight, just clean up your fats. Now, if you really want to focus on losing weight, then what you would want to do is go as much towards being a vegetarian as you can handle. This is going to be different from person to person. Like my wife, for example, she loves it when I talk about her. Hope she sees this. Right? She tried to go without meat for a little bit, did not work. Her energy levels and her body type, she could not do that. So we had to put that back in there really quick. I, on the other hand, I can go without meat because I have this huge size, and I went straight towards more veggies, and my body was making protein and all the amino acids. I was getting everything I needed, and I started dropping weight like that. And over the last 2 years, I've lost 30 pounds. Thank you very much. Now, I was never really obese or anything, but I knew, maybe this is you, that you need to be a little trimmer. Then head as much towards being a vegetarian as you can. I'm not telling you to cut out all meat. You'll get some people that swear by that, and I understand that. And in fact, I have friends that only do meat. They're doing this thing called the carnivore diet. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. The Mediterranean diet, the keto diet. The most important thing, no matter what you're doing, is clean it up. Clean, clean, clean. You don't want all the chemicals that are going into our food production here. That's going to take a learning curve. It's going to take more time than I could do in a video. That's why I'm telling you to go learn and understand what clean is. Just start looking online if you need to. We have resources for you up front. We have books. We have a great book up there called Align Your Health, and that will outline all of this in detail and give you a bunch of recipes. There's a brief handout up there that you can start. That'll give you some starting points. Personally, right now, what I'm doing is 80-ish% vegetarian with lots of juices. We have a juicer at home. We've got a place across the street. If you just want to go pick some juices up, called Clean Juice. They're organic. They don't put any GMOs in there. And once you start doing that, I promise you this, you'll start understanding what people talk about with their energy levels when like if you've ever talked to a vegetarian, right? Or somebody that's really, really clean with their food, they start talking about how great they feel and this energy, and their skin gets more vibrant. Like I'm talking to you right now. I have all this energy. I had energy before, but now I'm really seeing the benefit because I've gone And I still eat some meat, don't get me wrong. I'm a carnivore at heart. I mean, I love it, but I notice that I feel better and I sleep better, I have more energy when I do more vegetarian. So this will just get you started. This is chapter 3.0. We can go down many avenues with food. So stay tuned over the next couple of videos. I'm gonna get into supplementation. I'm gonna do one specifically on how to lose weight effectively, properly, and we'll go from there. But you've gotta start somewhere, inspire yourself, picture what you want your life to look like, and maybe scare yourself a little bit, right? If you don't change what you're doing, are you headed towards heart disease? Are you headed towards cancer? Are you headed towards dementia? That's the big fear driving factor in me. That will motivate me really quick, right? Because I've seen somebody in my family go through that. It's terrible. And on the positive side of thing, I want to be grateful that when I'm 80 and 90 years old, I'm playing with my grandbabies and my great-grandchildren. This is Dr. Hooten signing off. Stay tuned. Stay engaged. Don't let your health go to where you regret it. Stay there. Get there. What you'll find, last point, if you get your health vibrating on a new level, you'll find that you handle stress during the day better. We're in the middle of, I hate to say this word, but we're in the middle of this, I'll call it a plandemic, right? You've got this virus and everybody's scared, wearing masks and all that. Hear me, I am not scared of this virus whatsoever, and I never was. Our circle of friends and family, not scared of it. We're not wearing masks. We understand that masks are keeping the virus, if we have it, close to us. We're keeping germs closer to us. You're basically licking whatever it is your body's trying to get rid of, plus you're sucking in CO2 at a higher rate. And listen, the virus is so small, it's gonna go right through a mask, even from your own mask. It can't stop it. It's not designed to do that, right? Yes, you may stop some saliva particles if you sneeze, but I don't know about you, I've never sneezed on somebody, right? I've always covered my mouth. It's like Mom told me, right? You're far better off doing that than putting a face covering on. And the Surgeon General, the U.S. Surgeon General is even saying masks are worthless. Final point on that, and put this in your memory banks and never forget it. Now that we're at the end of this, where our culture has taken this outside-in approach, if you think about it, nobody, no politician, no media sources, none of them are telling you to get strong on the inside. None of them are telling you how to get your immune system strong. None of them are telling you how to get your mindset right. None of them are telling you to exercise. None of them are telling you to take care of your spine, right? It's all quarantine, it's all social distancing, it's all masks, it's all an outside-in approach. And let's take a really good example of how terrible that has shown to be. In New York, the vast majority of the cases are up in the Northeast there near New York. If you look at that chart, it's showing like 2/3 of all the cases in the United States are centered right there. And the good old governor up there was on a press conference the other day, and he said it, and I was glad he said it. He didn't realize the ramifications, but he said 66% of all the new cases of this virus are in people that are social distancing. They're probably wearing masks. New cases in people quarantining themselves. Think about that. Get outside, get some sun, take care of your spine, and for goodness sakes, start eating right. Love you guys. Talk to you next time.